An aspect of the consumer track that I really enjoy is the tool that it is to help a client understand that they have more to learn about marketing and advertising, even as long as they've been in the business. And a great example of that is an attorney that I've met with recently. Cold called him, made the appointment. We got together, got through our pleasantries, and at the time that I felt was right, I pulled out my 3M piece of paper, put it on the wall, started through the consumer track, and he shut me down completely. Sat back down, just regrouped, and continued on the consumer track, really in conversation. About 30 minutes into our meeting, he looked right at me and said, "Where is your computer? Where's your air card? Everybody else brings in a computer. And just tell me what I want." And that was a great opportunity for me to just kind of step back and say, no offense, but you don't really know what you want or need for that matter. But we can use a consumer track, and I can help you, and you can help me figure that out. And an hour later, I left. We had eventually gotten back to the consumer track, got back up to the wall, went through a consumer track, and leaving that meeting, he's told me, "Paul, you've changed my paradigm of marketing and advertising. I've never seen anything like this." Next meeting, went back with my producer for a pre-production. Sat down, everything was clipping along just fine. And then he started to throw in his objections or keeping us honest, make sure that what we were telling him, creating and crafting this message, had the substance that we were telling him that it had. And that's another great thing about the consumer track, is we had that up there. We could refer back to it. And we got through that perfectly and came up with a great creative. Then the real true test is bringing that creative back and the final product of that. Brought it back to him once we finished production, played it for him. He rolled back from his chair, from his desk, and said, "This is fantastic." He said, "This is something I can use for a national campaign." And that was it. That was a culmination of 3 meetings, oftentimes him throwing in some wrenches, just trying to, like I said, keep us honest. And he was completely impressed. And ultimately, I know he was satisfied, because he stroked me a check for the first quarter and said, "Let's get it started. Let's do it right now." So that's just another great example of how the consumer track is really an education tool. And it makes things so much clearer for the client and lets them get excited and really believe in a campaign.